The massive Empire scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its metallic hull gleaming under the distant sunlight. Inside the ship's command center, the Empire's sensors detected thousands of artificial satellites orbiting a blue planet, signs of a developing civilization that hadn't yet achieved full space travel. Admiral James Stone stood in Earth's Orbital Defense Command, watching the giant alien vessel approach on the main screen. Unlike many others in the room who showed signs of panic, the Admiral remained calm. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades. "Send the welcome message on all frequencies," Stone ordered, his voice steady. The message, carefully crafted over years of preparation, went out in multiple formats and languages. It carried Earth's greetings and an invitation for peaceful contact. The Empire's response came quickly. The holographic image of Lord Grey, a tall humanoid figure with gray skin and elaborate robes, appeared in the command center. His expression showed nothing but contempt. "Primitive species of Sol 3, Lord Grey announced, using perfect English thanks to their advanced translation technology. "The Eternal Empire claims your world. Submit now, and you may serve as a low-rank member race. Resist and face destruction." Admiral Stone stepped forward, maintaining his composure. "Lord Grey, with all due respect, we must decline. We suggest you research Earth's history before making such demands. Humans don't respond well to threats." The alien lord laughed, the sound echoing through the command center. "You dare refuse? Your species barely manages spaceflight. What could you possibly do against the might of the Empire?" "We warned you nicely," Stone replied, his voice growing colder. "Humanity has spent its entire history fighting itself. We've mastered the art of war through countless conflicts. Now, for the first time, we stand united against an external threat. This is your final warning. Leave our system in peace." Lord Grey's hologram showed a flash of annoyance. "You speak bold words for a species that hasn't even colonized its own star system. The Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships." As the conversation continued, Earth's military forces quietly moved into position. Space stations activated their hidden weapon systems. Stealth satellites repositioned themselves. Deep space radar tracked the locations of more Empire ships approaching the system. "Remember, Lord Grey," Stone said firmly, "you're not facing a peaceful race that developed space travel before weapons. You're facing a warrior race that developed weapons first, and then reached for the stars. We've spent centuries perfecting the art of killing each other. Imagine what we can do to an outside threat." The Empire Lord dismissed Stone's warning with a wave of his hand. "Enough of this foolishness. You have one Earth day to surrender. After that, we will demonstrate the Empire's power." As the hologram disappeared, Admiral Stone turned to his staff. "Send word to all commands. Operation Dark Forest is now active. They think we're primitive because we haven't spread across space yet. They don't understand that we've spent our time preparing our defenses instead." Throughout the next hours, Earth's response took shape. Hidden military bases on the Moon powered up their shields. Mars Colony revealed its massive weapon platforms. Asteroid bases activated their stealth systems. The trap was set. In orbit, the Empire scout ship's sensors failed to detect these preparations. Their arrogance blinded them to the possibility that a primitive species could hide its true capabilities so well. "Send the final message to the Empire ship," Stone commanded. The message was brief. "You were warned. What happens next is your own fault." Lord Grey, watching the message in his ship, laughed again. He had already called for the invasion fleet. These humans would learn their place, just like all other races that had dared to resist the Empire. But as the Earth's forces completed their preparations, it was clear. The Empire had made a terrible mistake. They had judged humanity by its apparent technological level, not understanding that Earth's history of constant warfare had created a species uniquely prepared for this moment. The first war between humanity and the Galactic Empire was about to begin. and only one side had any idea of what was coming. The Empire's invasion fleet arrived 3 days later. 50 massive warships jumped into the solar system, their weapons charged and ready. To them, it seemed like an overwhelming force. To Commander John Reed, watching from the hidden lunar command center, it was exactly what they had expected. They'd brought their smallest invasion fleet, Reed said to his officers, a slight smile on his face. Just as intelligence predicted. They still think we're primitives. The Empire ships moved into formation around Earth's orbit. Their weapons systems targeted the visible human satellites and space stations. Lord Grey's voice boomed across all communication channels. Your time is up. Surrender now or watch your orbital defenses burn. Reed pressed a button on his command console. All units, execute Plan Thunder. Show them what primitive really means. What happened next shocked the Empire fleet. The supposedly primitive human satellites suddenly changed course, revealing themselves as armed drones. Hundreds of hidden weapon platforms emerged from their stealth fields around the moon. The Mars defense grid powered up, its weapons already locked on target. Impossible, Lord Grey shouted as his sensors revealed the true extent of Earth's defenses. These readings must be wrong. The first wave of human attacks didn't target the Empire ships directly. Instead, thousands of small, fast drones swarmed through their formation, creating confusion. Empire gunners fired at the drones, missing most of them. They didn't realize these were just decoys. Phase 2, Reed ordered calmly. Let's show them how Earth fights. The real attack came from directions the Empire never expected. Asteroids that appeared to be natural space rocks suddenly fired their engines, revealing themselves as massive human battle stations. Weapons platforms hidden in Earth's oceans launched their missiles straight up through the atmosphere. Even the space junk orbiting Earth turned out to be disguised weapon systems. Their ships are breaking formation, reported Reed's tactical officer. They don't know which threats to target first. The Empire fleet's rigid battle tactics fell apart against Earth's chaotic style of warfare. Their ships were designed to fight in organized battles, not this mess of attacks coming from every direction. Their advanced shields couldn't track the thousands of small threats while also defending against major weapons. Launch the space fighters, Reed commanded. Hundreds of small, agile Earth ships shot out from hidden bases across the solar system. Unlike the Empire's large, powerful ships, these human fighters were small, fast, and piloted by veterans of endless war simulations. The Empire crews watched in horror as human ships deliberately crashed through their shield frequencies, something no civilized species would ever try. The humans had figured out that while Empire shields could stop energy weapons and missiles, they couldn't maintain stability if something physical moved through them slowly enough. This is not possible. Lord Grey raged as another of his ships reported critical damage. These primitives are fighting like madmen. That's because you never bothered to study us. Reed's voice replied across the command channel. Humans have been preparing for alien invasions since we first looked at the stars. Every crazy tactic you're seeing, we've practiced them for decades. The battle lasted 6 hours. By the end, 30 Empire ships were destroyed or disabled. The rest retreated in disorder, jumping away to hyperspace amid a chaos of human attacks. They left behind damaged ships and valuable technology, exactly as Earth's leaders had hoped. In the Lunar Command Center, Reed looked at the battle damage reports with satisfaction. Earth had lost many satellites and drones, but no major installations. More importantly, they had proved that humanity could stand against the Empire's best technology. Send word to Admiral Stone, Reed ordered. Phase 1 complete. The Empire now knows we can fight. They'll be back with a bigger fleet, but now we have their technology to study. As cleanup crews moved to capture the disabled Empire ships, Reed watched the tactical display with pride. The Empire had expected an easy victory over primitives. Instead, they had learned why humanity's warning should have been taken seriously. The real war was just beginning. But Earth had shown that the human way of war was unlike anything the Empire had seen before. Now it was time to prepare for the next phase, when the Empire would return with an even bigger fleet. But this time, they would face a humanity that was ready, waiting, and even stronger than before. Dr. Thomas Smith stood in his underground laboratory, surrounded by pieces of captured Empire technology. 3 weeks had passed since humanity's first victory, and Earth's scientists hadn't wasted a single minute. The lab, hidden deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, buzzed with activity as researchers worked day and night. "Look at this," he said to General West, pointing at a holographic display. "Their shield technology is advanced, but it's built on simple principles. They never thought to combine it with our older weapons." The general leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "Can we use this?" Dr. Smith smiled. "We already are. Watch this demonstration." On a testing range behind thick protective glass, scientists placed an Empire shield generator next to what looked like an old naval cannon. The shield activated, creating a shimming blue barrier. Then the cannon fired. Instead of bouncing off or being absorbed, the simple metal cannonball passed straight through the shield, carrying a portion of the shield's energy with it. The result was devastating. They designed their shields to stop energy weapons and high-speed projectiles, Dr. Smith explained. But we found out they never considered someone might shoot something slower. When we combine their shield energy with old-style weapons, the results are interesting. General West's eyes lit up. "How soon can we add this to our ships?" "Already started. We're calling it Project Thunderbolt. But that's not all we've learned." Across the lab, other teams worked on different Empire technologies. One group had cracked their communication systems, another was improving their engine designs, and a third had figured out how to detect their ships in hyperspace. "The Empire made a huge mistake," Dr. Smith continued. "They left too much intact when they retreated. Now, we're not just copying their technology. We're making it better." A loud alarm suddenly blared through the facility. General West rushed to a communication panel as reports flooded in. The Empire had returned, just as expected. But this time, they had brought their main battle fleet. 500 ships, West announced grimly. They're positioning themselves throughout the solar system. Dr. Smith remained calm. "Perfect timing. Tell Admiral Stone to execute Operation Trojan." The Empire fleet, led by the massive dreadnought Imperial Dawn, spread out to surround Earth. Their new commander, High Admiral Vale, was determined to crush these upstart humans properly this time. "Commence the attack," Vale ordered. "Show these primitives what a real Empire fleet can do." But as the Empire ships moved forward, they encountered something unexpected. The humans weren't just defending Earth this time. A whole solar system had become one giant trap. Hidden bases on every planet, and major moon revealed themselves. The asteroid belt turned out to be filled with human weapon platforms disguised as rocks. Even the comets contained surprise weapons. "Launch the new fighters," General West commanded from his command center. Thousands of small human ships appeared, now equipped with hybrid technology. They carried simple metal projectiles charged with Empire shield energy. When fired, these weapons passed through Empire shields like they weren't even there, causing massive damage. "Impossible," Vale shouted as reports of heavy damage came in. "How are they doing this?" The answer became clear as more human ships joined the battle. Earth had taken Empire technology and changed it in ways the Empire never imagined. Old weapons combined with new tech. Simple strategies enhanced by advanced systems. In the underground lab, Dr. Smith watched the battle data pour in. "Every ship we disable gives us more tech to study," he said. "Every failed Empire attack teaches us more about their weaknesses." The battle raged for 2 days. The Empire's huge fleet struggled against humans' unconventional tactics and hybrid weapons. When Vale finally ordered a retreat, he had lost over half his ships. As the Empire fleet fled, General West visited the lab again. "How much more can we learn from their technology?" Dr. Smith gestured at the rows of captured Empire devices. We've only scratched the surface. The Empire thought size and numbers would win. They forgot that humans are best at taking others' ideas and making them better. The war's turning point had arrived. Humanity wasn't just fighting back anymore. They were revolutionizing warfare itself, and the Empire had no idea what was coming next. Captain Jack Black stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Thunder, humanity's first deep space attack vessel. Built using a mix of human ingenuity and captured Empire technology, it looked nothing like traditional Empire ships. Its dark hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it, making it nearly invisible to normal sensors. "All ships report ready, Captain," his first officer reported. "Strike Fleet Alpha is in position." For the first time since the war began, humanity was taking the fight to Empire space. 50 ships, all as dark as the Thunder, waited in formation. They had spent 3 months practicing for this mission. "Send the message to Earth Command," Black ordered. "Operation Shadow begins now." The human fleet jumped to hyperspace using their improved engines. Dr. Smith's team had modified the Empire's technology, making human ships faster and harder to detect. The Empire wouldn't know what hit them. They emerged near an Empire supply base, a massive space station that served as a staging area for attacks on Earth. The Empire had grown overconfident after surviving thousands of years without serious challenges. They never posted proper guards. "Launch the drones," Black commanded. Hundreds of small, unmanned ships shot out from the human vessels. But these weren't ordinary drones. Each one carried a special surprise, a mix of old Earth computer viruses and new Empire coding. The Empire station's communications suddenly filled with garbage data. Their defense systems crashed. Backup systems tried to activate, but found themselves fighting against programs designed by generations of Earth hackers. "They're blind and deaf," the tactical officer reported with a grin. "Just like we planned." Black nodded. "Begin Phase 2. The human ships split into smaller groups, each attacking from a different direction. They used tactics that would have seemed insane to Empire commanders. Ships deliberately shutting down their shields to appear dead, others hiding in the debris of destroyed vessels, some even using the station's own shadow for cover. Inside the Empire station, chaos spread. Their rigid command structure fell apart when faced with attacks that didn't follow any normal military logic. They had trained to fight proper space battles, not this mix of guerrilla warfare and cyber attacks. "Sir," an officer called out, "we're picking up Empire distress calls. Their reinforcements are on the way." Black smiled. "Right on schedule. Launch the mines." As Empire rescue ships arrived through hyperspace, they found themselves emerging into fields of cloaked explosives. The human fleet had seeded the entire area during their attack, turning the space around the station into a deadly trap. "This isn't how warfare is supposed to work," the Empire station commander shouted over an open channel. "You're fighting without honor." "No," Black replied calmly. "We're fighting to win. There's a difference." The battle continued for hours. The human ships darted in and out of combat, never staying still long enough to become easy targets. They used the confusion of battle to plant more viruses in Empire systems, steal valuable data, and capture advanced technology. When the Empire finally managed to mount an organized defense, they found the human fleet had already disappeared. They left behind a crippled station, dozens of damaged ships, and corrupted computer systems that would take months to clean. Back on the Thunder, Black reviewed the mission results. They had lost only 3 ships, all unmanned drones. In return, they had destroyed or damaged over 30 Empire vessels and captured enough technology to keep Earth's scientists busy for months. "Send word to command," he ordered. "The Empire supply lines are cut. Their next attack on Earth will be much harder without this base." But the real victory was bigger than just one battle. Humanity had proved they could strike deep into Empire space. The war was no longer just about defending Earth. Now humans could attack anywhere, anytime. "Set course for the next target," Black commanded. The Empire thought they could simply overwhelm us with their giant fleets. Time to show them why that was a mistake. As the thunder disappeared into hyperspace, reports of the attack spread through Empire space. For the first time in thousands of years, the Empire faced an enemy that didn't play by their rules. An enemy that turned their own technology against them. An enemy that struck from the shadows and disappeared before they could respond. The humans weren't just fighting back anymore. They were hunting. High Council member Red paced nervously in the Empire's grand chamber on their capital world. The massive room, usually filled with confidence and pride, now echoed with angry voices. 6 months of war with humans had changed everything. Another supply base lost. One council member shouted, slamming his fist on the polished table. 3 more colonies refusing to send ships. How can mere humans cause so much trouble? Reports from across Empire space filled the giant screens on the chamber walls. Each one brought worse news. Human strike teams appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Empire communication systems failed mysteriously. Even their most loyal slave species were beginning to question Empire power. We must send the Grand Fleet, another council member demanded. Crush these humans once and for all. High Admiral Vale stepped forward, his uniform no longer as crisp and perfect as before. The Grand Fleet cannot move, he admitted. Human raiders have disrupted our fuel supply lines. Half our ships don't have enough power for long-distance travel. The council chamber erupted in shocked whispers. The Empire's Grand Fleet, pride of their civilization, stuck in port because of supply problems. Impossible. A new message flashed on the main screen. Admiral Stone of Earth was requesting another peace talk. Many council members laughed, but Red noticed something worrying. The human admiral was broadcasting from what looked like an Empire command center. How did they get that facility? Red demanded. They didn't capture it, Vale replied quietly. The governor of that sector gave it to them. He said humans offered better treatment than the Empire. The chamber fell silent. For the first time in Imperial history, one of their own worlds had willingly joined an enemy. Worse, 3 more sector governors were now in talks with Earth. Show them the new human broadcast, Red ordered. The screen changed to show scenes from Empire worlds. Human ships protecting Empire merchant vessels from pirates. Human medics treating Empire citizens in hospitals. Human engineers helping repair damaged Empire facilities. This is their deadliest weapon, Red explained. Not their ships or their strange tactics. They show our people kindness, and that makes them question everything we taught them about humans being primitive savages. More reports poured in. Empire propaganda no longer worked on many worlds. Stories spread about humans treating prisoners well while Empire officers abandoned their own troops. Some Empire ships even refused to fight against humans. We're losing control, Vale admitted. Our own people are starting to ask dangerous questions. Why do we fight? Why can't we change like the humans do? Why must we follow traditions that don't work anymore? A junior officer rushed into the chamber, forgetting all proper protocol in his panic. The humans, he gasped. They've released all our secret files. Everyone can see how the council has been lying to them. Red watched as riots broke out on dozens of Empire worlds. The humans hadn't just attacked their ships and bases. They had attacked the Empire's foundation of power, the belief that the Empire way was the only right way. They warned us, Red said quietly. That first human admiral warned us to study their history. If we had, we would have known that humans don't just fight with weapons. They fight with ideas. The council argued for hours, but they couldn't agree on what to do. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to fight to the death. Many just wanted to blame someone else for their failures. In the end, Red walked to the great window overlooking the capital city. Far below, crowds gathered in the streets. They carried signs demanding change, asking questions the Empire had forbidden for thousands of years. We thought our biggest problem was human weapons, Red told the council. We were wrong. Their most powerful weapon was showing our people that change is possible, that there are other ways to live. As the council chamber descended into chaos, a final report arrived. 3 more Empire worlds had declared independence. The Empire wasn't just losing a war in space, it was losing the trust of its own people. And all because they hadn't listened to a simple warning. We advise you to run. General West stood before the combined fleet of humanity and their new allies. Through the massive viewing window of Earth's new flagship, Vengeance, thousands of ships stretched into the distance. Many were former Empire vessels, their crews having chosen to join the human cause. All fleets report ready, his communications officer announced. Earth ships, freed Empire worlds, and independent systems, all in position. The past 8 months had transformed the war. What started as Earth fighting alone had become a revolution that spread across Empire space. Now it was time for the final push. Send the signal, West ordered. Operation Freedom begins now. The largest fleet ever assembled outside of Empire control jumped into hyperspace. Using improved versions of Empire technology, they could travel faster and more secretly than ever before. Dr. Smith's latest inventions had made sure of that. They emerged simultaneously at 30 different Empire systems. The attack wasn't just aimed at military targets. This time, they struck at the very heart of Empire power. Launch the information packets first, West commanded. Before a single shot was fired, every communication system in Empire space received the truth. Videos of Empire leaders lying to their people, proof of corruption, and offers of freedom to any world that joined the human alliance. The Empire's remaining loyal ships scrambled to respond, but they faced a new kind of war. The human fleet didn't just attack with weapons. Each strike was accompanied by broadcasts showing Empire citizens a better way of life. Sir, the tactical officer reported, 7 more Empire worlds have lowered their shields. They're asking for protection against Empire loyalist forces. West nodded. This was exactly what they had planned. Every world that joined them made the Empire weaker and the Alliance stronger. The Empire's own people were turning against them. In the command center of an Empire core world, High Admiral Vale watched in horror as his defense fleet fell apart. Human ships used tactics that made no sense until they worked perfectly. Some ships acted as decoys, drawing fire while others slipped through. Some broadcast false signals that confused Empire targeting systems. Fight back, Vale shouted at his commanders. Where is your Empire loyalty? They're not fighting at full strength, his aide whispered. Most crews have family on worlds that want to join the humans. They don't want to fire on ships that might end up protecting their homes. The Empire's mighty fleets, once the terror of the galaxy, crumbled in system after system. Not just because of human weapons, but because their own people had lost faith in Empire leadership. Back on the Vengeance, West received reports of victory after victory. The hybrid weapons developed by Earth's scientists cut through Empire defenses. The battle tactics learned from months of warfare proved unstoppable. Sir, his first officer reported with a smile, the Empire's capital world just sent a message. The High Council is asking for terms. But West knew better than to celebrate too early. Keep the fleet at battle stations. The Empire's leaders might want to surrender, but some loyal commanders might try one last fight. He was right. Even as peace talks began, die-hard Empire forces launched desperate attacks. But they found themselves fighting not just humans, but their own people. Former Empire ships protected civilian worlds while human forces struck at military targets. This is how the Empire ends, West said quietly, watching another Empire battle group surrender. Not just defeated by weapons, but rejected by their own citizens. The Great Offensive continued for 3 more days. System after system declared independence from the Empire. Some joined the human alliance immediately. Others chose to govern themselves. The Empire's iron grip on the galaxy was broken forever. When the fighting finally stopped, the galaxy had changed. The Empire that had ruled for thousands of years now controlled only its home system. In its place, a new alliance was forming, one built on freedom, and cooperation instead of fear and control. Send word to Earth, West ordered. Tell them the Empire has fallen, and this time it will never rise again. The Great Offensive had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. Humanity hadn't just won a war, they had liberated a galaxy. 1 year after the Empire's fall, Admiral Stone stood in the newly built Galactic Council chamber on Earth. The massive room, with its circular design and hundreds of seats, represented everything humanity had fought for. Representatives from former Empire worlds, independent systems, and Earth's colonies filled the chamber. "Would you believe," Stone said to Dr. Smith, who stood beside him, "that all this started because they wouldn't listen to a simple warning?" The chamber buzzed with activity. Former Empire citizens mingled freely with humans and other species. The rigid barriers of the old Empire had vanished, replaced by an atmosphere of cooperation and mutual respect. On the main display screen, images showed the galaxy's transformation. Former Empire warships, now painted in peaceful colors, protected trade routes. Earth scientists worked alongside alien engineers, combining their knowledge to create better technologies. Schools on former Empire worlds taught true history instead of propaganda. "The final report is ready, Admiral," an aide announced, handling Stone a datapad. The numbers told an amazing story. In just 1 year, trade between worlds had doubled. Scientific discoveries had increased by 300%. And most importantly, countless worlds that once lived in fear now govern themselves. At the center of the chamber, Lord Grey, the same Empire Lord who had once demanded Earth's surrender, stood to address the Council. He looked very different now, his once proud Empire robes replaced by simple diplomatic clothing. 1 year ago, he began, his voice humble, "I made the greatest mistake in Empire history. I told humans to surrender, thinking they were primitive. Instead, they taught us that being different doesn't mean being primitive." The chamber fell silent, listening to his words. "We had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years," Grey continued. "We thought our way was the only way. But humans showed us something remarkable. The power of adaptation, of learning, of changing for the better." Dr. Smith smiled as he watched. His laboratories now worked with scientists from 100 worlds, sharing knowledge instead of hoarding it. The Empire's fall had unleashed a wave of innovation and creativity that benefited everyone. In orbit above Earth, the Thunder and other ships of the human fleet patrolled alongside vessels from former Empire worlds. Captain Black, now an instructor at the new Galactic Defense Academy, taught crews from all species how to work together. The Empire's biggest mistake, Stone told the gathered representatives, wasn't just attacking Earth. It was believing that strength comes from forcing everyone to be the same. We proved that real strength comes from embracing our differences. The changes weren't just military or political. Empire citizens, free from their rigid social rules, discovered new ways to live. Some worlds chose democracy, others found their own paths. Earth helped them all, but never forced its way of life on anyone. General West, watching from his seat, remembered the desperate battles of the past year. "We didn't just win a war," he whispered to his aide. "We won the peace that followed." In schools across former Empire space, children now learned the story of how humanity changed the galaxy. They called it the Human Warning, a lesson about the danger of underestimating others and the importance of listening before fighting. As the council session ended, Stone walked to the great window overlooking Earth. Ships from 100 worlds moved through space around his planet. Earth had gone from being an isolated world to the center of a new galactic civilization. "What do you think the future holds?" Dr. Smith asked him. Stone watched a group of former Empire children playing with human kids in the council building's garden below. They didn't care about old rivalries or past wars. To them, this new galaxy of freedom and cooperation was normal. "The future," Stone smiled. "The future will be better than any empire could have created, because this time, we're all in it together." In the former Empire capital, now a museum of galactic history, visitors could see the original warning message Earth had sent. Below it, a simple plaque read, "Sometimes the most primitive thing you can do is not listen to a warning. And sometimes the most advanced civilization is the one willing to learn from others." The galaxy had changed forever, and it all started because an empire didn't listen when humans warned them to run.